It is now Monday morning, and this is the last Monday morning before Christmas, and I guess I was kind of trying to figure out maybe how to do this, but I am not a technologically literate guy, but I do feel like water is essential, and occasionally I need a little pick me up in the morning, so I add a little caffeine, but this ain't like ocean blue water, but it is wicked blue citrus, and I really do enjoy it a lot more than coffee. Just like I enjoy honey more than I do money, because honey is a lot sweeter than money, and I feel like right now a lot of people are a little stressed about money because it's the end of the year, and I feel like I know personally I don't have any money, so I guess I ain't all that stressed out about it, but I am concerned. I've been basically sleeping outside. It's been snowing lately, so I'm really grateful to the young lady that's allowed me to get off the street, trying to get back on my feet. And I guess if you're going to buy a car, quickest way to get back on your feet is maybe missing payments. But I do feel like right now I won't be able to share because I care, and I feel like this is a public service message that, people ought to recognize and realize that some people don't have cars, some people don't have a license, some people don't have money. So, I don't think it's necessarily what people have that is what God looks at. I think he's more about looking on the inside than the outside. But I do feel like right now we live in the divided states of America. If you're in America, of course, if you're in Canada, I pray you'll stop by Prince Edward Island. I feel like a lot of people undervalue where a child is conceived, and I think anything you believe and conceive you can achieve, because if you can program your mind to be humble and kind and say if it's to be, it's up to me, you're going to appreciate the honeybees and honey a lot more. And I think not everybody can be number one, but I don't feel like you should always try to just maybe be equal to everybody else either. I don't think that was God's intention. I think we're all gonna be the greatest of all time at something, and it's just basically gonna be one of those situations that hopefully we can figure out who we are and what our purpose is and our passion and our plan, and implement innovative, insightful, intuitive, ingenuitive, imaginative ideas and inventions so that we're all able to come up with something that might help us be construed as being lucky. Because if you want to be successful, just follow successful people and implement their habits and think like they do and do like they do, and ultimately you'll be very successful. And I pray that if you are successful in the first 40 years of your life, you'll spend the last 40 of your life giving back. And 40 years is a long time. It's been that long since I graduated high school. A lot of people probably didn't think I ever would, but what people could do and would do and should do isn't necessarily what they do. And a lot of people basically die when they're 18, but they don't get buried in the ground till they're like 78 because they don't live life beyond high school. They always go back and talk about high school. But anyway, I know a lot of people graduated school high, and as a result, I feel like I was actually always had aspirations of being in the movie industry, and I know it ain't worked out like that. But I try to read more and hopes that I can become more so I can do more and have more and share more because I care more, and I think being empathetic oftentimes it makes it difficult for me to maybe just walk on by without saying hi if I see somebody hanging their head, and I feel like right now, I'm trying to maybe pass out cards or, share because I care that this, in my opinion, is my favorite beer because, I used to be an alcoholic when I was 9, and, I feel like maybe it helped me in some ways because, I didn't have to endure the pain of reality sometimes when I was basically trying to maybe escape reality. But, I've always wanted to try to make a modern day movie about the tortoise and the hare. And there's a lot of people out there a lot more talented than me, and this is going to be their year coming up. They are a lot wiser than me, a lot, better looking or what have you. So, they got more money, they got more friends. And I guess if I had to really evaluate the only thing I got on my side right now, I have to say is my relationship with God. And I pray to Mother Mary because I feel like Mother Mary ascended into heaven, and as a result, I feel like she's probably going to bless me a lot more than perhaps maybe, I might get blessed by anybody on earth because, I think in order to maximize our worth, it's important to be able to recognize that things always don't go as planned, and I guess I feel like God's got a great sense of humor because if you really want to make God laugh, I think you just tell him what your plans are and, try to negotiate with them. But when you actually praise God for your adversity and problems, and be grateful for being able to experience a little pain sometimes, I think it is something that you can be able to grow from because no pain, no gain. And, occasionally the phone rings and I feel like that ain't always my best friend, just like alcohol never was. And it does have a great message in the bottom of the bottle. It says no deposit, no return, but I don't think you can really put into life as much as you're capable of if you basically are drunk or, inebriated or in any way inhibited from being able to progress. And that's why I think Congress is the opposite of progress, because oftentimes when they make their decisions, they're pretty drunk. So, I think decisions that people make when they're drunk may be a lot more fun, perhaps maybe a little bit, easier to make, because I guess if you're able to just avoid having to think, it's better to be able to drink your problems away rather than think your problems away. And most times the people that elevate to the position of authority where they're making decisions elevate to a position that's referred to in the Peter Principle as a position of incompetence. And as a result, I really feel like there's a lot of age discrimination in the world right now, because I think our most gifted thinkers are probably under 12 years old. And I feel like when I was under 12 years old, I had a lot of great ideas, and I really won't share them. But, I also was able to be a child, and, I haven't really seen any sense in growing up ever since then, because I just feel like I don't have any children, I don't have any women in my life, I don't have any animals to take care of, and I just been kind of like Rumpelstiltskin, because I just basically sleep my life away in some ways. But I also try to read books, and some people don't value being a thespian lesbian, but my father was a lesbian dinosaur, and so was my grandfather, and as a result, I'm a lickalotopus from an ideal world. But that's my imagination. Obviously that's not reality, but I'm a dreamer, and I pray that someday I might be able to look a woman in the eyes and make her feel like a prize. And who knows, I mean, maybe she'll ask me out on a date, we can go on a little picnic. But I guess I might have to wait till Sadie Hawkins Day. But, you know, I feel like it's one of them things that maybe shy guys do sleep alone, but ultimately, you know, maybe it ain't never gonna happen where I do fall in love, because I know you can live without love and you can live without money, because that's what I'm doing right now, but you can't live without water. So I'm grateful for the water. That's why I really enjoy being able to kick it up a notch. But, you know, I feel like right now orange is the color of the sun, and it represents yellow and red, and I guess I recently been trying to become a deadhead with a redhead. I fell in love with Carol Burnett back in the day, and I guess it was just not in the cards that I never even got to meet her. But, you know, I really do feel like laughter's the best medication and humor's the best therapy. And a lot of people say a rose is a rose, but I don't think that's necessarily true, because, you know, I think roses come in many different colors, and, you know, I feel like all colors matter, and I feel like all numbers matter, and I'm older than the Super Bowl, and I was born in the 1900s, so I know maybe I'm too old to be worthy of a woman, but I do feel like green is God's favorite color for many reasons, including the fact that cannabis is something that I enjoy, because I feel like right now, I mean, I'm trying to basically get lucky in terms of being able to go back to school and focus on rule number one, to always have fun under the sun until the day is done. But unfortunately, I'm underfunded and undervalued and underappreciated, but I guess that's kind of like a triple crown when it comes to being underground. But I'm not sure if, you know, people realize that underground isn't a bad place to be if you're in a situation where you can elevate your thinking and be able to stay cool at the same time, because in order to get highest and best use out of land, it's imperative that you go underground. I was talking to a fella that built over there at that Gillette Stadium, and I don't really care for Gillette razors, because I think they're a little bit overpriced for being able to do something you shouldn't do. And I think that's one of the biggest travesties of justice in the world, is being really good or even being the best at something that shouldn't even be done in the first place. Because I see a lot of things like that, like selling funeral plots. Some of them fellas, they make $30,000 every time somebody dies, because it's all covered by insurance. They get GoFundMe accounts to pay for the funeral expenses, and it all goes to these people that are selling plots in the ground that could be basically eliminated if you had cremation, like my mother. And my mother passed, and she's sitting in an urn, and she always had the dream of being able to have her ashes spread on Ireland soil, which is where she's from, I guess. And, you know, I mean, I feel like she was kind of actually Jewish, which was a reason that when I was out there in Beverly Hills, I thought I could got some funding. But, you know, it's very difficult, I think, for somebody that's broke to be able to get up on stage and tell a joke or two, because they actually want you to pay out there to get up on stage, because they figure you got to pay your dues before you can make the money. And I guess paying your dues is what Tom Cruise does. And I mean, right now I feel like I wanted to consult with him, because I do value gifted thinkers, and I know he wanted to be a priest back in the day, and I've never made love to a woman, so I feel like right now I really want to make a choice if I maybe ain't able to be able to use my voice and share because I care. I feel like there's a lot of power in the tongue, and you can speak life into existence in a way that's going to elevate our thinking, so we can have an attitude of gratitude to improve our latitude. And when I look at USA, I see the first two letters out of the three, and it spells us. And if it's to be, it's up to us, is what I think. But a lot of people say, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I think it is important to focus on independence and being strong independently, and recognize that freedom ain't free, and that Ecclesiastes 10:19 says that food is for feasting, wine is for a merry heart, and money's the answer to everything in order to make the heart sing. And be able to sing about that song, My Ding-a-ling. I like that song because it really is something that I pray maybe some ladies might be able to unite in song with me. And I do love to hear the ladies sing, whether it's in the church choir or basically I've been trying to do this so that I can get to a point where I can maybe do this without having to have advertising and actually have something worthy of listening to. And I feel like right now, I think that ultimately First Noel is a really great little CD you might want to look into about, lullabies, because babies are the future leaders of tomorrow. And as a result, I feel like right now a lot of people underestimate the value of children, but I do believe that children are born when they're conceived, not when they come out of the womb. And for that reason, I think I should be able to have citizenship in Canada, but more importantly, I think it should be something that is able to point out that if you're in North America or South America, you're an American. And as a result, I think rather than trying to focus on the fact that the divided states of America could become the United States of America if we had a lot better leadership than what we currently have, I think we all focus on the fact that hardships are the pathway to peace, and there are good ships, and there are wood ships, and there are hint ships, and there are ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. And I think when people are able to turn neighbors into friends, then it becomes a real strong community where everyone looks out for each other and takes a village to raise a child. And that's why I think, a lot of people don't realize that when you first are able to find a partner that's going to be your friend to maybe bail you out if you ever get stuck in jail, or maybe if you get your truck stuck in the mud, you got somebody to call. It's nice to be able to know you got somebody like that. Of course I don't, but I do feel like I have something maybe even better than that, because I got gold. And when I do get stuck in jail or out in the woods, I feel like it's better to be lost in the woods than found in the city by somebody that ain't my friend. So I know gold is the best friend I'm going to have. In fact, I think gold's a better friend to me than I am, because I think if you really evaluate it from the perspective that, gold's your best friend and you're your worst enemy, then maybe you're in good company. And I like to focus on heavenly, healthy hospitality and honey. But right now I don't know much, because I basically only have the opportunity to recognize and realize that my time is the most precious commodity I have. And I know a lot of people got a lot of stocks and bonds and real estate and a lot of assets and a lot of tax liability as well. So right now I feel like the IRS owes me a lot of money because they took out more than what they should have. But now trying to get the call back, I think I'm just going to write it off, because a lot of people don't realize how much of a hardship it is trying to be able to contact them if you're a citizen. Obviously if you're an immigrant, because they're being advocated by Kamala Harris, who was the district attorney up there in San Francisco, and then she became the attorney general and basically just didn't have any consequences that she tried to implement with people that maybe broke the law, because she don't worry about that. And I guess the reason she got her job is because she was able to play swallow the leader with Joseph Robert Biden Jr. And I do feel like right now a lot of people underestimate the value of our current president, but keep in mind it could always be worse, because if she got in office, I think that maybe it might be a little bit of a situation where I really don't feel like the economy will ever experience stimulation. But I am trying to be positive, and that's why I want to point out that in 2022, I'm running for the consultant to the women in the United Countries of America. And as a result, I feel like when all the women unite and form an alliance and have a little bit of a club that's going to be called Wise, Witty, Wonderful Women who will win during the 2020s decade, we can have a parade and history will be made. And even though I thought 20 minutes was going to be plenty, because that's why I say 20 is plenty, 50 is 30 nifty, $100 Benjamin will help me grin so we can all stay thin and focus on nutrition and also stamina and endurance, which is what you're going to find with the honeybees, because we need to support this matriarchal system and recognize and realize that if the honeybees die, we're all going to die. So I really do feel like, even though, you know, a lot of people maybe invest more in the NFL than they do in the honeybees, which I think is absolutely ludicrous, because I think if you really start to evaluate the fact that when people go to those stadiums and watch these NFL football games, basically they're paying them watch somebody else exercise, and while they're having their 16-ounce curls drinking beer that don't even taste as good as the root beer or, you know, the Mio Energy, which is, I'm going to be introducing something that's going to be a lot more synergistic, symbiotic, and help you get high and fly. And as a result, I've created Irish Eddie Murphy Adult Lab White Chocolate Clitoral Stimulation Sauce, which has a blueberry flavor as well, because that's going to give you a little bit of creatine and enhance your endurance, your stamina, and make your honeymoon a better night to remember. And as a result, you'll be able to enjoy the rest of your December. So I really do feel like in order to heal, you got to keep it real. And let's focus on New Deal. So, I mean, that was going to be 2022. I just had to know, I was going to try to have like a time or whatever. But, you know, I guess it's going to be kind of the where we're at. We're right in the middle of 2022. And 2023. So with that in mind, I pray that you all have a wonderful day, and God bless you every day in every possible way. And if you can pray for me, I think your prayers mean more than money, but I could use a couple bucks too, because I don't have a truck or driver's license, and I need an advocate to talk to the IRS because I don't understand them.